Yeah. Hey mamas, thank you so much for joining another episode of Mommy Moments with Pamela. I'm Pamela Pekerman, and today I am so excited and extremely honored to be joined by Karen Hirsch, who is the president of the Vasculitis Foundation. And if you follow me on social media, you know that I'm also a board member of the Vasculitis Foundation. But I want you to tell us about your journey to getting into the Vasculitis Foundation, because this whole week is all about love of community. So what is, first and foremost, what is the Vasculitis Foundation?
Oh, the Vasculitis Foundation is an organization that supports and empowers people with vasculitis and their families, giving them the latest of information, helping them make the best connections to the right care, and so that they can become a person who can live their best self with these diseases.
And for those who don't know, and I know that's many, it was also me before, unfortunately, I lost my dad to vasculitis. Sort of the 411, what is vasculitis?
Vasculitis is an autoimmune disease, and the hallmark of it is inflammation of the blood vessels. And so there are 17 different forms based on what size blood vessels are involved and what organs might be involved as well.
So essentially it's your immune system kicking you in the tush,
yes.
Basically. And that's really what it is. And you know, the reason why I wanted to chat with you is you are a mom, and I want you to sort of tell the moms out there how you came to even be associated with that word vasculitis.
Right. I am a mom, but my baby is 26 now. But when he was 19, he came home from his freshman year of college with what seemed like a sinus infection that wouldn't go away. So we did all the standard treatments, going to the pediatrician, getting the antibiotics and the steroids, and nothing worked. And so one day he was headed off to work, and he's this big guy, and I couldn't even hear his voice. And so I was thinking that there's got to be something else going on here. Not getting any answers, he's getting worse. So I called an allergist, who is my most wonderful angel in this earth. She made the diagnosis of vasculitis. It's a very rare disease. Most people never see it in their lifetime as a practitioner. So she made that diagnosis, and I was very happy to get the answer until I learned what vasculitis is and how it was treated. And that sent me on a path of searching for the best information, searching for the best caretakers, because I know my son will have this disease for his whole entire life, and how well he's treated and how well he responds to treatments is going to be what kind of quality of life he has.
And I think something that you mentioned, it has to do with this, mother's intuition, right? And listening to what's going on right here, because I'm sure that there's a lot of moms out there who have, they feel that there's something else, there's some other situation going on. So what sort of gave you the courage to continue to push for what eventually was the right answer?
Right. I mean, it's that responsibility that every mom feels for the health of their child. Even though my child at that time was 19, he still looked to me for the answers.
Right.
Mom, hey, this isn't working, and I am getting worse. And so I, did so much research on the internet and continued to take him to different specialists until I found the answer.
Till you got there.
And so I encourage every mom, just don't give up. If you know there's something wrong, something standard is not working for your child, keep pursuing.
And we didn't mention who your son is, but it's kind of a big deal. Not just because he's your son, but tell for those who might not know, tell everybody a little bit about Michael Hirsch.
Okay.
So, because it's for the sports gals out there, this is very exciting.
Yes. Well, the backstory is he was a football player at Harvard until he got sick. And so he was no longer able to play football. When he returned to college, he was able to stay on the team filming. So that is like the hardest thing for an athlete, to be on the sidelines.
To bench, just be bench, yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes. So he graduated on time and then went to work in New York City at Citigroup, selling bonds. But there was always a part of him that really wanted to return to football. So during one of his years, he started training and then applied to grad school. And he had a Cinderella year in 2016 where he played on the University of Michigan Wolverines.
And they made it all the way to
the Fiesta Bowl.
what is it, the Orange
Bowl?
The
yes.
Orange Bowl.
Yes.
Even I knew that. I remember because I was following the story, and I don't follow football, but I was following the story because I was super excited. So, your son and your story, it's almost like you can't believe that it's happened. And so what are some mommy moments that you experience now with him? Does he sort of comprehend your push and your patient empowerment on his behalf?
Yes, he does thank me.
Well, not thank, just does he even get that somebody had to advocate for that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are a number of times he'd be in a situation with, medical practitioners, and he assumed that I would listen and I would direct him even after those appointments, because what he wants to do is return to a normal life and lead a normal life as a 19 and 20-year-old. So often he even relied on me then. And
so it never changes. That is the takeaway for any mother right now who has like a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, that at every stage they always need their mommy. Right?
Just come in a bigger package and bigger problems. So yeah, that's it.
And so, how long after you found out that he had vasculitis did you actually get involved with the vasculitis community? Because I think so many people don't necessarily, come to the forefront, and you have, and now you're the president of the Vasculitis Foundation. Right. So what was that sort of transition?
Yeah. So for the first year, I used them. I used them for everything I could get: information, connections to the right practitioners. I wanted everything right for my son. And then when I felt like he became in a more stable place, the switch flipped from me crying every day and worrying every day to like, okay, I've been helped, I've got to give back. And I was exceptionally grateful to people who helped me. And so I started, volunteering on the board. And I have worked my way into president, so it's been very fun. Yeah,
and so now you are the president of the Vasculitis Foundation, but that really shouldn't be too much of a surprise, because you do have a background in the non-for-profit and medical space.
Yes, I do have a background in healthcare administration, but really the consistent characteristic of anyone who's been president of the foundation is a heart and wanting to give back and support the community. So I have that basic minimum requirement, and then I do have experience in the field.
And you're also really good at fundraising as well. So even for the moms out there who may not necessarily join a board or become a president, what are some tips you might have for getting involved with a cause that's close to you?
Yeah. I mean, there are the simple things, and just talking about it with your family and friends and your groups of people out there. That's really important in terms of raising awareness. In terms of raising funds, it's just great to have fun with them in a philanthropic way. So I chose something so simple that involved young families, which was a bowling event. And so their kids could come, the parents could come, grandparents could come.
This is the event that you host in Chicago.
Yes.
On behalf of the Vasculitis Foundation.
Right, yes. So every fall we have this rally in the alley for the Vasculitis Foundation, and we raise funds for them and raise awareness. We've had press there, and it's been exceptional for both my heart and for the foundation.
And so before we sign off, what sort of takeaway would you tell a mom who is sitting right now and thinking, I don't know what's going on? I think sometimes we might be afraid to speak against a doctor or to a doctor.
Right.
What are some tips for empowering a mom and a family to find the right solution for something that they might be battling?
Right. I think the first thing you have to do is change your attitude that you're to be in a relationship with your healthcare practitioner. You know your child better than they could ever know them. You want to be in a partnership with a practitioner who wants to listen to you and you to them. They have expertise that you will never be able to duplicate unless you're in the field yourself. But you also have an expertise in your own child and how they feel and how they respond and what's important to them. So it's a partnership when you get healthcare.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you learned a little bit about not only Karen and her journey with the Vasculitis Foundation, but also about the vasculitis disease. Take a look at www.vasculitisfoundation.org. We're also running we, because I'm also on the board. There's also a really interesting social media campaign, www.vasculitisfoundation.org/VFBob. And if we've learned nothing else, we have learned that mommy moments go on forever.
Yes.
And there are probably a million stories of, putting out fires, not just with vasculitis, because that was sort of the ultimate fire, but the nonstop fires that continue.
Never end.
That never end, and nor do we want them to.
Right. I counted on my mom forever, so it's great.
So there we go. Thank you so much, mamas, and see you next time.